Hello everyone, welcome into the ITLS Academy. Myself, Dr. Himani Singh, and today we are going to discuss about the children environmental health risk. So first we will discuss about the environment. The environment affects children differently than adults because their bodies are still growing. Children are at greater risk if they are exposed to environmental contaminants. So first we should know that what is environment. The term environment employs all the external factors, living and non-living, material and non-material, which surround man. Everything except me is environment. Or we can say that environment is something you are very familiar with. It is everything that make up our surroundings and affects our ability to live on the earth. It could be the air we breathe, the water that covers most of the earth's surface, the plants and animals around us, and much more. Now, area of concern. The environment is the set of circumstances surrounding that organism. A clean, healthy environment is important for people' physical and emotional well-being. First, we will go for discuss about the physical environment. The physical environment include all non-living things like land, water, air, light, heat, or solar radiation. Some examples could be radiations, noise, extreme heat or cold, unsafe building, and traffic. Next one is chemical. Chemical environments are exposed chemical environments are exposure in which strong concentration of highly corrosive gases, fumes, or chemicals touch the surface. Some examples could be the chemical environment is pesticides, solvents, lead, mercury, and next one is the biological environment. Biological environment include organisms of the same kind as well as other plants and animals too. Some example could be disease vector and molds. Next, we will go for discuss about why children are more vulnerable to environmental risk. The children are not little adults. Their bodies are not the same as adult bodies because they are small and still developing. They are more easily exposed to environmental contaminants. Here are some factors which indicate that why children are more vulnerable than adults. First, children are constantly growing. They breathe more air, consume more food, and drink more water than adults do, in proportional to their weight. Children, central nervous, immune, reproductive, and digestive systems are still developing, and certain early stages of development, exposure to environmental toxiciants can lead to irreversible damage. Next one is children are more likely to put their hands in their mouth. A child body may not be able to break down and get rid of harmful contaminants that enter the body. Children behave differently from adults and have different pattern of exposure. Young children crawl on the ground where they can be exposed to dust and chemicals that accumulate on floor and soil. Children have little control over their environment. Unlike adults, they may be both unaware of risk and unable to make choices to protect their health. Baby's skin is more absorbent than adult skin. Baby skin is more permeable and more prone to dryness than adult skin. A baby body surface to volume ratio is higher than that of adults. which increase baby skin vulnerability to applied substances, unhygiene, and to sun exposure. Children are exposed to greater level of chemicals because they breathe more air as a percentage of their body weight than adults, and because they may be more susceptible physiologically to the hazards associated with such exposure. Children have a longer lifetime ahead of them and therefore a longer time to accumulate pollutants and to experience the result. Next, we are going to discuss about the environmental impact on children health. A safe, healthy, and protective environment is key to ensuring all children grow and develop normally and healthy. Children are particularly vulnerable to air pollution, hazardous chemicals, climate changes, and inadequate water and hygiene. Let's discuss about impact of the environment on children health, which published by WHO in 2017. First, we are discussing about more than 1 into 4 child death could be prevented by cleaning up the environment. Every year, environmental risks such as indoor and outdoor air pollution, second-hand smoke, and unsafe water and sanitizations take the lives of 1.7 million children under 5 years, death of 26% of child. Malaria caused more than 3 lakh deaths in children under 5 years in 2015. Malaria, the most important vector-borne disease globally, is transmitted by the bite of infected Anopheles mosquito, which prefer clean standing or slowly moving fresh water. Better environmental management of these water bodies could help prevent the more than 3 lakh deaths in children under 5 years. Climate change increase the risk of disease, especially for children in developing countries. Climate change is one of the greatest new threats to children's environmental health. Higher temperature and higher level of atmospheric carbon dioxide favoring pollen growth are associated with increased rates of asthma. More frequent heat waves will put children at risk of heat stress, renal disease, and respiratory disease. Air pollution is the greatest environmental risk to children's health. Every year, more than 5,70,000 children under 5 years die from respiratory disease such as pneumonia linked to indoor and outdoor air pollution and second-hand tobacco smoke. Next, we are going to discuss about the asthma prevalence in children is increasing worldwide. Worldwide, 11 to 14% of children aged 5 years and older currently reported asthma symptoms. Many of these symptoms are related to indoor and outdoor air pollution, secondhand tobacco smoke, pollens, and indoor molds and dampness. Next, we are going to discuss death rate from pneumonia in children under 5 years. In this picture graph, we can see the death rate of children from 1990 to 2017. The graph is showing data of India and worldwide. So, death rate of pneumonia in children was observed by WHO and data was recorded that annual number of deaths per lakh children under 5 years was in 1995 was in India is 430 and worldwide it was 320, and same as now we can see in 2000 year the in India the death rate was the 335 and worldwide it was 269, same as it decreased year by year, and at last in 2017 if we see by this graph then the death rate was in India is 143 and the worldwide it was the 119. So you can see the death rate from pneumonia in children in 1990 it was very high, and gradually day year to year it decreased. So now we are going to discuss about the pollutions related disease in children. First we are going to discuss about the birth defect. Now we should know about the what is birth defect. The birth defect are structural changes present at birth that can affect almost any part of the body. It could be heart, brain, foot, or lips. They may affect how the body looks, walk, or both. Birth defect happen as a baby develops in the mother body. Some birth defects are so serious they can cause a baby to die. Other are very minor problems that can be easily repaired. Babies born with birth defect have a greater chance of illness and long-term disabilities than babies without birth defect. Most birth defects are thought to be caused by a complex mix of genetic, behavior, and environmental factors. About 3% of babies or 1 of every 33 are born with a birth defect. A mother exposure to certain chemicals and pollutions may increase the risk of birth defect. A pregnant woman may be exposed to chemical through breathing, eating, or drinking food or water that contains chemicals or absorbents through the skin. These chemicals can then pass through the placenta and into the fetus bloodstream. A fetus development may be more susceptible to these environmental exposure during the first trimester. This is the most sensitive time in pregnancy when the organs and limbs are formed. When a woman comes into contact with an environmental hazard early in her pregnancy, it may increase the risk of her baby being born with a birth defect. Women should try to avoid exposure of air pollution, pesticides, plastic solvents such as paint thinner, nail polish remover, over cleaner during pregnancy. Next, we are going to discuss about the breastfeeding. Human milk is the most natural and superfood for infants, providing a range of benefits for growth, immunity, and development, a significant decreasing risk for several acute and chronic diseases. However, breast milk is not pure. Pollutants have been initially or inadvertently produced and introduced into the environment. A breastfeeding mother environmental surroundings can also affect breast milk since organic pollutants and other contaminants can accumulate in it. Due to long half-lives and fat solubility, chemicals tend to bioaccumulate in long-lived species at the top of the food chain, including in human milk. If a breastfeeding mother is smoking, it is likely that nicotine and other toxins can be transmitted via breast milk to the baby. This can impact the baby's sleep pattern and increase the risk of sudden infant death syndrome. It can also cause the mother to produce less breast milk. Through breastfeeding, a mother may transfer potentially toxic chemical to the sucking infant, exercising systemic and harmful effects on the health of children. Breastfeeding are associated with a variety of respiratory health outcomes in children, including asthma, pneumonia, acute lower respiratory tract infections, and impaired lung function development. Now we are going to discuss about how environment can affect a child brain development. Brain imaging research suggests that growing up in a disadvantaged environment causes the brain to develop differently. For example, living in an environment affected by poverty can lead to change in the brain stress system that increase a child's vulnerability to chronic disease later in life. Studies of very young children have identified disintegrative pattern of brain actively associated with family income and socio-economic status, especially in brain area related to social and emotional development, language ability, and learning and memory. Now we are going to discuss about the lead poisoning. Lead can be found in all parts of our environment, the air, the soil, the water, and every inside our home. Lead components have been used in wide variety of products found in and around our homes, including paints, ceramics, pipes, and plumbing materials, shoulders, gasolines, batteries, ammunitions, and cosmetics. Children younger than 6 years of age are more susceptible to the toxic effect of lead than other adults because they have an incomplete blood-brain barrier that permits the entry of lead into the developing nervous system, and because they are a greater prevalence of iron deficiency which can result from the cause lead poisoning through increased absorption of lead from the gastrointestinal tract. Exposure of lead can be harmful for children's health. By this picture, we can understand exposure to lead can seriously harm a child's health and cause well documented adverse effects such as damage to the brain and nervous system, slow down growth and development, learning and behavior problems, hearing and speech problems. This can also cause lower IQ, decreased ability to pay attention, underperformance in school. Air pollution. Air pollution is harmful particles or gases in the air that we breathe in. Pollution is not just in the air we breathe, when we go out, it can affect the quality of the air we breathe indoor as well. Source of air pollution in town and cities, the main source of air pollution is road transport. The air you breathe indoor can be affected by chemicals we use when we clean or decorate our home, how we heat and cook in our home. It also affected indoor air pollution. Building materials used in constructions also affected our indoor air pollution. Tobacco or canvas smoke also affected our indoor air pollution. By this picture, you can see like that which are things affected our indoor air pollution. Now, how does air pollution affect children? Being exposed to air pollution in the womb can alter a baby lung development. If your baby is exposed to a lot of air pollution, it can also lead to premature birth and low birth weight. By this picture, you can see air pollution as unseen threat to children's health. Each year, air pollution causes 570,000 deaths in children under 5 years. This includes indoor, outdoor, and second-hand smoke. In children, air pollution can stunt brain development, reduce lung functions, and trigger asthma. It can also set the stage for problems later in the life from stroke, cardiovascular disease, chronic respiratory illness, and cancer. If your child breathe high level of air pollution over a long period, they might be at risk of lung not working as well as they grow older, developing asthma during childhood or as an adult. And if they have asthma already, air pollution can make it worse. Wheezing, coughs, lung cancer when they are older, infection like pneumonia. Now, why air quality impact children most? Unlike adults, children's lungs are not fully developed. As a result, children breathe in far more air much far more quickly than adults do. In fact, at birth, most children only have 20% of the adult's lung mass. As they reach their teenage year, they will eventually have a full strong set of lungs. Until then, they will breathe in far greater quantities of air pollutant than any adult. Now, disease caused by air pollution in children. First, we are going to discuss about the respiratory disease. As most of the air pollutants enter our body through the nose and mouth, the respiratory tract take the biggest hit. Exposure to pollutant air causes coughing, sneezing, wheezing, shortness of breath, common cold, nausea, headache, and irritations of the eyes, nose, and throats. Next, we are going to discuss about the asthma. Asthma is a condition in which the tissue around the airway of a person become inflamed and swell up, producing excess mucus and narrowing the air path. This makes it difficult for the person to breathe normally. Asthma is triggered by smoke, pollen, dust, mites, pet dander, fungal spores, and fine particulate matter. Next one is pneumonia. Pneumonia is a lung infection characterized by inflammation of the alveoli in the lung. It is triggered when a person inhaled air pollution with certain kinds of bacteria, virus, fungi, or other parasites. As the disease progressed, the alveoli filled up with fluid and the lungs swell up. Contaminated air and tobacco smoke is one of the biggest reasons for the spread of pneumonia. Last one is the cancer. Prolonged exposure to particulate matter has been found to contribute to liver, pancreatic, and breast cancers. Traffic related air pollution and inhalation of benzene and nitrogen dioxide vapors have been associated with childhood leukemia, a type of blood cancer that mostly afflicts children under the age of 50. Now we are going to discuss about the water pollution. Water pollution involves the pollution of surface water and or groundwater, which may cause series of disease referred to as a water pollution disease. Water may commonly be polluted by two main categories of pollutions. First one is chemical and second one is living organism. First we are going to discuss about the chemicals, including natural or man-made chemicals that get into a water body and reaching concentration that raise serious health concern. Common problematic chemicals getting into water are pesticides, petroleum chemicals, mercury, and many more thousands of chemicals used in industrial process. Now we are going to discuss about the living organisms. First, we will discuss about the pathogen, including a variety of living organisms such as various species of virus, bacteria, fungi, and intestinal worms. Their presence in water may many times remain unnoticed. In algae, some types of algae are toxic and many overgrow due to the presence of nitrate and phosphate in runoff water, especially agriculture runoff. Their toxins may affect the food chain, including fish and birds, and ultimately humans. So, disease caused by the water pollutions in children. First is diarrhea. Diarrhea is a disease that causes frequently and watery bowel movement. It manifests as a result of intestinal infection or food poisoning by drinking contaminated water with pathogens from animals or human waste. Diarrhea leads to dehydration, loss of electrolytes, and death of infants and young children. Next, we will discuss about the thyroid. It's a serious bacterial infection distinguished by acute intestinal infection. The bacteria responsible for the infection is known as Salmonella typhosa. It causes affect one by washing off, consuming contaminated water, or ingesting food waste with contaminated water. Its symptoms include nausea, loss of appetite, and headache. After typhoid, we are going to discuss about the hepatitis. Hepatitis is a highly infectious disease that affects the liver. It is acquired through injection of the water contaminated with the hepatitis virus. Eating food washed with contaminated water can also spread the disease. Its symptoms include abdominal pain, jaundice, depression, fatigue, nausea, weight loss, and fever. Neurological problems, liver and kidney damage. Some causes of liver and kidney damage are associated with drinking water contaminated with chemical pollutions. The use of water contaminated with the chemicals pollutant may not cause major health disorder, but are associated with the inflammation of the liver, liver failure, kidney failure, or the development of kidney stones. Last one is the polio. Polio is a serious viral infection associated with the poliovirus. It is spread through water contaminated with feces from an infected person. When the virus enters the bloodstream, it destroys the nervous system and results in extreme weakness of the body. In most cases, it causes paralysis. The symptoms include fever, headache, and later on paralysis. Children are 30% of the world pollution, but children are the 30% of the world population, but 100% of the future. So, action against future of the children is required. First, environment health risk of children are increasingly being recognized as an international problem. Experience and research suggests there are a number of actions that planner can take to address environmental health threats to children. First one is encourage the development and support of community level initiatives to reduce environmental health threats to children. Next one is reduce exposure to harmful pesticides by banning the use of the most toxic chemicals, educating users, and encouraging the use of integrated pest management to minimize the use of pesticides. Promote the recognitions, assessments, and the study of environmental factors that affect children's health and development. Reduce children exposure to pollutant through education, regulation, use of cleaner fuels, and reductions of environmental tobacco smoke. Last one is invest in program to increase access to clean water and sanitization facilities and to promote better hygiene practice. So I have covered my today topics. Hope you all enjoyed this lecture. Thanks for listening me. Thank you.